Hi, my name is Jim Byrne, Principal Systems Engineer for Data Pivot Technologies. Today we're going to be going over Commvault LiveSync Failover. And before we get started, I just want to remind you to give us a like button if you do like our video. If you think the content's great, that really helps us out. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel because then you'll get more great content just like this. All right, let's get started. Okay, what we're going to be going over today is I'm going to give a quick review of the environment. This is where all the failovers are going to be happening, so you have a picture in your head of what's going on. Then I'm going to review Commvault LiveSync, just how it works, so you have an understanding of how this whole failover process works. Then I'll go into the Commvault Setup, and we're going to do I'm going to set up a DR target, show you what that looks like, and then we're going to show you the setup for replication. And then we're going to actually do these so you can watch them and watch these things fail over. All right, so let's get started. All right, the first thing I was going to get into here is the data pivot environment. We have two data centers. We have one in Pomfret, Connecticut, and we have several ESX hosts going, and we also have some Oracle virtualization, Nutanix, KVM, got some physical boxes. And over here in North Andover, I have a couple of ESX boxes. And where I'm going to be concentrating today is a little demo environment I set up was on these two machines here. And this environment's a little bit different. I have a standalone media agent on the outside here. So when I drill into this area to show you what's going on, you won't see a media agent because it's actually out here backing up. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to drill in here and we'll show you what this looks like. So the demo that I'm going to do today, I have two ESX hosts stood up. One is ESX3. It's we're going to call this production, and I've got test 61, 62, and 63. I'm going to live sync these over here to ESX2, and I have test 61-DR, test 62-DR, and test 63-DR, and you'll notice the suffix on them. You can tell that it's a replica. And these, when we start the process, will be on, and then I'm going to fail over to here. So that's it in a nutshell. Now, one of the things I did want to go over real quick is, what's LiveSync all about, just to refresh your memory. Typically, the way this happens, I'm going to just show over here, because this is what my other LiveSync video I have done. We worked over here. And what you do is you back up a VM here to your local media agent. Then you replicate using Commvault's deduplicated streaming hash. And over here, you have another copy. And from this, you can restore. Now that sounds like a lot of work, but it doesn't take a long time because once you get through the first full backup, VMware has a thing called change block tracking. So it's only the change blocks that get backed up. Then with deduplication, even less data has to go across the network. And now I have a copy that's local and I can apply those change blocks to my VMs that are over here. So this whole process only takes a few minutes, and you're going to see today when I actually do it, it goes fairly quickly. It doesn't take long at all. So that's just a quick review of Commvault LiveSync. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump in here to the Commvault setup, and we're going to go through the DR target, and then we're going to go through the setup for replication. And probably, actually before I go diving in here, let's go take a look at the Commvault environment just so you can see it. I mean the VMware environment, my bad. Okay, so I have a Failover Demo resource group here, and there's my machines, test 61, 62, and 63. And over here on the other host, ESX2, I have a Failover Demo DR resource group, and there are my machines. And what I was going to show you, if you look over here, see this box here? It's sitting on this network, ESX 192.168.8. When you go over here, it goes on a different network, ESX2. Each one of these just has a local network in them. And what I'm talking about is with a VMware service, Standalone, they have their own little, this is basically your own little switch inside the box, and then you plug it into your main network. So you can't have the same name on each host. That's just the way it is. You have to give them a different name. So you'll see that they both say 192.168 subnet. That's this here. So while this box here is running, it's connected to this subnet and it runs fine. And then when I power all these down, power all these up, they connect right into this network and they're fine because they're going to be on ESX2 192.168.8. That's this switch right here. Okay, so let's go into our recovery target so you can see how everything is set up. That's the first thing you need to set up, is where am I going to put these things when I do my DR. So I set up a little failover demo. And incidentally, when you go to do this, you just hit recovery targets, and over here there's a little add button so you can get started. So here's my failover demo, and the way this is set up, I want to go to ESX2. I'm going to put those VMs on this data store. I'm going to put them in this resource pool. I'm going to plug them into that network. I mean, that's really all there is to it when you're doing a DR. I mean, if you were doing this manually, doing a vMotion, that's what you would do. You would pick your host, pick your storage, pick your resource pool where you want to put it, and you'd pick your network you want to connect to. So that's pretty much it. Very simple. Now, when we go to replication, now there are replication groups that you can have running all the time. So I have these set up running all the time. So there's replication going on. This is what I did in another video showing LiveSync. This is not the failover, but I just want to show you what this looks like. So what these are doing is they're on a schedule every few hours. And here's test 61. And you can see the SLA has been met and it's in sync. And it's within every 4 hours, it will do a backup and restore. And it's done in just a short period of time. Now up here on top of the screen, you'll notice something different. There's something called a failover group. Now this is for failover. That's what these are for. So let's go ahead in here to the failover group. And inside of the failover group, you can see some details here. I'm going to scroll down. And you can see down here it says everybody's in sync, and it'll tell you the failover status. Now this is going to change when I do my test. But these are my machines. They're all set up and ready to go. So if I want to fail any of these machines over, it's going to get taken over by this machine. So with that said, let's go through the types of failover. Now there's two types of failover. Let's get back to our diagram here. You can do what they call a planned failover. Now what this is good for is, let's say you had two sites, right? And there was a big snowstorm coming in here. And you're like, you know what, there's an ice storm, we could lose power. Let's temporarily just fail everything over here, and then we can run for a day or two, and when we're all happy, we'll fail it back. So that's why you use a planned failover. And what you'll see happen is you'll see an immediate backup of these guys, you know, grabbing all those change blocks. And the way Commvault does it, it shuts these guys down, backs them up, grab the change blocks, store them over here, bring these up, and then disable replication temporarily. So you can have this running over here for a bit. Then when you want to go back, Commvault will shut these down, back them up, just get the change blocks that changed, restore those change blocks over here, bring these back online, and then re-enable the LiveSync. So while you're in the middle of a planned failover, LiveSync will be disabled. And then when you fail back, they'll turn it back on. So here we are. Let's do a planned failover. Now I thought this is kind of cool. Watch what happens when I do this. I'm going to do a planned failover. Commvault tells you exactly what I just said. Power off the production, run a backup, do the replication, disable the replication, power on the VM. And that's what I want to do, so I'm going to say yes. And off we go, off to the races. So let me click here so I can go inside the job. And this shows you exactly what's going on. This is actually a workflow, so it's like a DR orchestration. So let me go back here to my active jobs and you'll start seeing some other jobs launch. So here we are, there's my orchestration. It's running, it takes a little while to get going. There, now a backup job just started so we can get those change blocks. Now if we go over here to vCenter, we can already see some stuff's happened. It's already logged into vCenter. And see these guys down here, they've all been shut down. The next thing you're going to see happen is it's going to take a snapshot and we're going to start doing a backup. So that'll happen here very shortly. So let's go in here. job details. So it's showing you exactly what's going on. It's getting ready. And this status will change in a little bit. So here it goes. That one's in progress. It just started. If I jump over here to vCenter, here we go. So it just created a snapshot for this guy. And if I click here, I can see the snapshot. And that GX, that lets you know that it's a Commvault snap. So that started. Here comes the next one. And this guy's actually gone too. So here we are. We have our snaps. Now we start doing the backup. So let's refresh this. Oh, here it comes. So now they're all in progress and we're starting to go. And we'll keep track of the time on this. It's only going to take a few minutes for this to run. So this is updating live. So we're not even 2 minutes into this yet. Already completed. So this one's finishing. So you're a third of the way there. Okay, another one just completed, and now the third one is going to complete. So end to end, not even 2.5 minutes. So this side of the process is done, or just about done, I should say. Just got to finish up this guy here. It's just a matter of refreshing. Let's hop over here to vCenter so we can see what's going on. So as these are backed up and the backup's complete, it's removing the snapshots from these VMs. So if you look here under the snapshot, there's nothing there. Done and done. Oh, it just finished that. Now it's up here reconfiguring these machines. And let's see if this will. There we go. So now these are getting ready to go. So let's hop back over to Commvault. This job is complete. Again, so end to end. It wasn't very long at all. It was just probably 3 minutes. Okay, so we can see this is done. There's our elapsed time, 2 minutes, 9 seconds. Now the replication is going. Now what this really is, it's a restore. It's applying the changed blocks. So we can see we're already, this thing is getting ahead of me here. So we have these are in progress and they're coming over. Oh, by the way, I've the way this is set up, you'll see them as they restore, they'll come. It doesn't do them all at once. So there are these two guys. Let's hop over here. We'll take a look in vCenter. So there's 63 is complete, and this thing is moving pretty quick today. That's 3. There's 61. Okay. So now the data is coming over. And very soon we should start seeing these power on. And while we're waiting, I'm just going to take a quick peek here for my replication. Go to my groups. And I wanted to show you this. This is what it looks like. So this is where we are. It says failover in progress. These two are done. This one is still going. So we're still running. So this is how everything has been defined. And let's go back to our jobs. Back to our replication. Get the details. Okay, this guy is still running. He's almost done. And we'll head back over here to vCenter so we can see what's happening. Okay, there's 2. It's funny, it did the odd ones first. It did 1 and 3. Now it's doing number 2. So we should start to see these come on pretty soon. So that's done, that's done, that's done. We should be getting pretty close here. Back into our orchestration job. And it's kind of cool if you go into the replication job, you can go through each individual machine and it shows you what's going on. So it shut it down, it replicated it. So you'll see it eventually power it on here in a second. Oh, there they go. They're up. So now we just have to wait for Commvault to go through and just do its basically just wrapping up. So we're nearly done. And let's go take a look at these boxes while we're waiting for this to wrap up. If you look here and we go to the monitor, there we are, test 61, box is up and running. Up and running. And we're up and running. Okay, looks good. Okay, so now that's going to remove a snapshot. It's happy that they're running. What it does do, it does like a test of these things. When they come up, it checks to make sure VMware tools is running. And if it finds it's running, that's its clue that everything is running okay, and it removes the snapshot. So we should be nearly done. So here the job is completed. Let's go back to our jobs. And we're done. We're failed over. Now, what I'd like to show you is if we go in here to our disaster recovery, and I go to my replication, go to my failover group. Now, what it'll show you is it'll give you a little summary of the current state of this group. And if we scroll down here, remember we looked at when we started this whole process, it's, you know, what it said it was going to do, it did. So currently, LiveSync is disabled, failover is complete. So let's go to our diagram. So now we were running over here, now we're running over here. This is disabled. And we'll go over here and just take another little look. This is host ESX2 up here. These are running, and if you remember before, these were running, but now they're off. So now let's say, you know, the snowstorm cleared and we're going to fail everybody back. So we just go here into our failover group, click here, fail back, and I love how they have this little diagram. This is the best. So what's it going to do? It's going to go shut down the VMs. Those are the ones running on ESX2. Do an incremental backup, you know, catch any changes because you're probably using these while they're over there. Then it's going to restore it back to the production VM sitting over on ESX3, power mount the source, and then we're going to re-enable LiveSync. So I'm going to say yes. And we've started our job. And now it's going to basically just do the same thing in reverse, but it's going to, the only difference this time is when this process is done, it's going to turn LiveSync back on. Let's go to our active jobs. So here we have our DR orchestration, it's running. And there we go. Let's go over here and we should see it's going to start, it powers them down pretty quick. Yeah, they're already powered down. And it's, you know, if anybody's wondering, it does do an operating system shutdown. It just doesn't just power them off. It's doing it using the guest OS. So the job we're doing is right here. View the job details. And here's our progress. Here's all of our VMs. So it's telling you as you go through, you can see the status of each one. So now it's doing a backup. So if we go and take a look up in our jobs, we'll see a VM backup job running. And here it is. And this is what's currently going on. Now if I go look over here in vCenter, these guys over here are actually running. So these are the guys we want to back up. So that's why you see snapshots being taken. And what it's going to do is going to take a snapshot of 61, 62, 63. There you go. So it just took the snapshot, and then it's going to mount that snapshot, back it up, grab those change blocks, then restore those change blocks over here, start these guys back up. So we'll give this a second. Let's hop back over here. And let's jump in here. We'll look at the details. Okay, so this one is running right along at a pretty good clip. And we just started, we're a couple of minutes in. It shouldn't take too long. Oh, there goes the other one. And we'll head back over here to vCenter so we can see what's going on. So it looks like it's already finished up, number 61. If we look here, that snapshot's gone. That tells me the backup's done. He's still going, still going. So let those run for a little bit. And we'll start to see some changes down here shortly. There we go. So that just completed. We just saw that over in vCenter. Now we just got to wait for 62 and 63. It's these guys here. Okay, 62 and 63 just completed. No more snapshots. So they're done. Okay, complete. So this is going to go to 100% shortly. So now if we go back here, we should see pretty soon that will finish. Then the next phase is to do the restore. So here's our orchestration job that's running everything. Okay, backup just finished. And then we'll see a replication job start shortly. Let's just jump in here to the orchestration job, and you can see the little storyline it has for each VM. So this guy here, he was shut down, backed up. Now the replication is in progress. So now if I go here, you're going to see a replication job running. Sure enough, there it is. And if we go up here, these guys here, you're going to see them power up shortly. Once those replications are done, you'll see them come up. So they're starting to reconfigure. And I've noticed vCenter, see these little dots? That tells you a machine's being restored. So you can't power it on, so it's in the middle of being processed. So these guys are receiving their change blocks. Okay, done. It's reconfiguring it because it's finished the restore. And let's hop back over here, and there's a little lag for this to catch up, but this will finish momentarily. That's how these say they're in progress. And we'll go here. And these are going to power on any second. And to finalize the process, what Commvault will do, these will come up. Here they go. Let's go to the console. There we go. So that's just starting to boot. I'm going to pop open a console on each one. Okay, he's coming up. And 3. Then I can just cycle through the top here. So there's that one's coming. Boom, done, done, done. All right, so they're all the way up, and it should just be a few more seconds for VMware tools to come online, and Commvault will check it, and we'll complete the process. So this is now done. So here's our orchestration piece. The last part it needs to do is just validate that they're truly running, and it'll be able to do that through VMware tools. Okay, almost done. Let me bring this up so we can see a little more what's going on. And we'll take a look at number 1 here. So you can go through, well, it looks like it's just about done. So backup, it's enabled the sync, post-operation, replication. So all this stuff was fine. And you see end to end, it doesn't take very long. This is the elapsed time for each step. So if you add all this up, I don't even 5-6 minutes, that's not bad. Doesn't take long at all. And let's see how this guy did. He looks like he's done. And it looks like he's done too. Now at this point, when the orchestration, Commvault's just going through and marking these as that they've been replicated successfully. They're back where they started, setting synchronization back up. So let's hop back over here. And the orchestration's complete. Now let's go back to the recovery and take a look at that group. What does it look like? And if we go down to the bottom here, everything's back where we started. Notice how the failover status is no longer, says that it's done a planned failover. It's blank now. And the sync status says everything is in sync. And we're in good shape. So right back where we started, and our failover, failback went fine. So that was a successful DR test. Now, the last thing I wanted to show you is there is a button here too. You can do a test failover. And you can just take a bunch of machines and fail them over just to see if it works independent. Like, let's say you wanted to, let me just show you this real quick. It takes a second. Let me close these out. Let's say you have LiveSync all set up. I've got these running, and I've got these running, and it's all working great. It's in production. But what if I just said, I just want to do a quick test failover to somewhere else? You can do that. If you click test failover, it'll back these up, and I could put another resource group down here, and it'll actually give them different names. You can't have the same names. Obviously it's a VMware thing, but I could have those 3 VMs down here, bring them up and play with them, and then when I'm done, just delete them. So Commvault does have that. If you want to do a test outside this because you don't want to screw with LiveSync, you can do that too. That's what that test failover button is. But over here, when we clicked, remember before we had a planned? Let's do a unplanned failover. What this is going to do is just going to stop production, disable the replication, and power on the DRVM. So this is basically, if you go here, maybe a tornado came through or something really bad happened. Forklift drove through the ESX server, something. It's not here anymore, it's gone. So you're like, well, I got to just bring this up. That's what this is for. It's like, forget trying to resync it and do it like you do in a planned failover. So here we are. So we're going to shut those VMs down, disable the replication, power them on. Go. So there's our job. It started. And this usually happens pretty quick because there's no replication or trying to keep things synced up. It's the real thing. You've really had a failure. So let's go here to our jobs. Okay, there it's starting. And if we go over to vCenter, oh, that's how fast it was. These are down. This is up. And these probably are, let me see if I can catch it, one of them still booting. Yeah, see how they're still booting? So that was almost instantaneous. And that's kind of nice too. You can set this up too for automatic failover. Let me show you that. Typically, I like to make that call myself as an administrator when to bring stuff up, but you can do it. They have it in here if you want to set it up for scheduling. If you go to replication groups, you probably noticed it over on the right side of the screen. Here. So you can actually do a planned failover schedule if you want. You can set that up as a schedule. And you can also do auto failover. So notice I just put a bunch of machines in here. What these will do is they'll automatically ping those machines or just check them to make sure they're up. And you have to have 3 of these working in order for this to work, so you can pick more than 3. And if it detects that these are down, if these go down, it'll automatically power these up like I just did. So that's available if you want it. But normally in places I've worked, there would be a phone call to say, hey, did the network go down? Do you guys have a little power outage? Should I wait? And when do you think I should bring it up? So typically I'm not big on the automatic failover, but for some instances it may be something really super critical, can't be down for more than a minute or two, then that's very handy to have. And let's go to our jobs. And we should see that our job is now complete. Yeah, it's all done. Okay, so just to review real quick. Go here. So we've gone through, I ran over the environment with you to show you the data pivot environment, what it looks like. Did a quick review of LiveSync. We went over a DR target, why that's important. That's where you're going to put your VMs in case you're going to do a DR. And then we went over the setup for replication. And then we did a planned DR that was basically failing over by shutting down the production VMs, backing them up, replicating over to your DR target, and then powering them back on. Let them come on, and then we failed it back. So that was basically back them up on the DR target, restore them back to production, and bring them back online. And then unplanned was just quick and dirty. You're bringing down the production VMs and just powering them back up. So that's it for Commvault planned and unplanned failovers. And again, if you want to reach out to us, if you have any questions, you can always email us at commvault@datapivottech.com. And please hit the like button if you like this video, and please don't forget to subscribe so you can get more great videos just like this. Thank you.